Hello, my wonderful people. Good morning to you all. On our way, don't know. Na me, na me the talk. Na me therefore behind this microphone, your microphone and our microphone. Okute daily talk. I don't carry on. Ubunga message. Can't give on now. Hey, this matter of releasing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, my dear brothers and sisters, don't be here. Another matter. Don't enter them. This what they call them. They say they are northern groups. They don't come now, begin the threaten the federal government and also threaten the so-called president of the Fulani government of Nigeria. That if he eventually release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, that they will end Nigeria. That's the people who own Nigeria now. They don't come out now begin the talk. People who own Nigeria don't begin now come out begin the talk. Or I don't want Igbo people, but allow Igbo people to go in peace. And I refuse. Or I don't want Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Or I don't want to send them to prison. Or I still leave them for who they are waiting trial for over 2 years and for the hands of DSS or in the DSS dungeon. Where have that one happened? Charge anybody to court within the next 48 hours according to the law of the land. If you feel that person is guilty of as charged. But as it stands now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not facing any criminal charges against him. All the 15 count charges being leveled against him by the then federal government of Nigeria or Fulani government of Nigeria have been quashed by a court of competent jurisdiction in the so-called Zoological Republic of Nigeria. So this group now coming out now to threaten Nigeria. Okay, maybe you people will end Nigeria and Biafra will still remain, because as you are ending Nigeria, Biafra can never be part of that caucus or that arrangement. Biafra stand on its own. So my wonderful people, I don't even know how to put mouth to talk this thing, because what I see online these days is really getting me worked up. How can you be come out and be calling for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu not to be released? But you people allow a so-called Islamic cleric who knows where all the whole bandits, he know their hideouts, they come to him and he go to them and they speak to him on phone, even physically, even verbally. And no one talks about that. The other day he came out openly and told the federal government of Nigeria that what they need is to negotiate with bandits. In whose country, even the lowest country in this life can never come out and tell you that nonsensical nonsense of negotiating with a so-called bandits. Bandits, Boko Harams, Ishwabs, and the rest of other groups that have rendered the country useless, that have brought the so-called Nigeria where it is at this moment. You want to negotiate with them, and you made us to understand that you know them. You know where they are, and they used to come to you. Imagine somebody making that kind of a comment, yet the federal government remain mute. Yet federal government will come out tomorrow and tell you, we put 5 million naira, 10 million naira, a bounty on the head of anybody who will give information of Tujin Bello, whereby Shikao, what did they call him, Gumi, is out there walking freely, who have come out in different occasions and claims he knows all these people and he knows their grievances. Yet nobody is asking questions. But it is easy for them to call for the head of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu or any Igbo who have made one comment or the other, not even contrary to what they are saying every now and then. It happens in Lagos. It happens in other parts of the country, whereby somebody will come out and profile. Okay, what about the case of the 70-year-old man Asare Dokubo, who in our so-called Asorok, the government out of Asorok that is handling the affairs of so-called Fulani government of Nigeria, that is where he stays, and make a lot of derogatory statements inciting violence, inciting a total unrest. Yet, today, nobody calls for his head. But it's easy for them to call for the head of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Anyway, my wonderful people, I don't want us to illustrate too much. I just want us to analyze all this news that we have for us today. Northern groups table 3 important questions President Tinubu must answer before releasing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That was the anchor, our anchor headline this morning. Today happens to be the Monday, When they hear me today, on Monday, according to my own time. I don't know your own time. Today is Monday, the 17th day of July in the year of 2023. So, if you never subscribe to my channel, endeavor to do that anytime soon, because the analysis we're going to do this morning will carry us very, very far, because I have a lot of goodies for all my fans out there who cares to know about the condition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the bail release condition, and what that is happening before the so-called Aso Villa. So, I beg, tighten your seatbelt, because we are about to take off. Make sure this video goes viral, because a lot of Biafrans need to know and need to understand that the people whom you said they are with you, in other words, 100% they are against you in all ramifications. So please, tighten your seatbelt. Let us go straight to the reason why we are here this morning. The coalition of northern groups has kicked against plots to compel President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to release the detained leader of the digital people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nigerians understand or report that Southeast governors, leaders, groups, and stakeholders have consistently called on the President Tinubu to release the pro-Biafra activist who has been in detention of the Department of State Service DSS since 2021 after his extraordinary rendition from Kenya back to Nigeria. In a statement on Saturday, CNG spokesperson, and what did they call him? Abdul Aziz Suleiman asked Tinubu to resist the Igbo campaign of blackmail using the Kanu's release as a precondition for sustainable peace in the land. While describing calls for the pro-Biafra activist release as unpatriotic, the group urged Tinubu not to fall for the antics of IPOB, insisting that the IPOB leader Kanu must face trial. No one is against that. If you want to face trial, you can let him face trial. How many times have the lead counsel, Michael Zekome, have asked the federal government of Nigeria or the Fulani government of Nigeria to, if they cannot release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, at least they should do what? Send him to Kuje prison. Let him there while he's awaiting his trial. But they refused, rather than suffering the young man, both mentally and otherwise. Did they tell you that Kanu is afraid of facing any trial? If the federal government have anything against him, let him bring it before the court. Not prolonging the trial from 1 month, 6 months, 7 months, years, and thereabout. Suleiman called on the federal government to intensify ongoing action to disband all militias, armed groups in the southeast and other parts of the country. Most especially, where you anchor your decision is I'm militia in the southeast. While it's just like somebody living his house where his house is burning and the person they pursue rat. Look at the whole of your people now. That's all they kill them woto. Yes. Anyway, that one I can call it a religious cleansing, because almost all the people they keep killing all this while, they are forcing people out of their own ancestral homes simply because foreigners from another countries want to take over their lands by force. That is what is happening in Plateau, Mangu in Plateau State. It is happening in Benue State. It is happening in Southern Kaduna, in Taraba. All these people, all these places I'm calling for you now are the most area being dominated by Christians. But the so-called Muslims, the religious bigots, they are the one that is forcing them out of there, killing them in their numbers. Yet, federal government don't have solution to it. But look at these people calling the head of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Well, I know they finish. Anyway, let us proceed. According to him, no group should have the capacity to challenge the state in its prerogative to maintain law and order and protect citizens' lives and properties. How would the relations of the over 500 personnel of the various paramilitary organs who were indiscriminately attacked and killed while on duty post at various checkpoints as a result of incitement by Kanu fail? According to him, as the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, what words would Mr. President use to encourage and retain other officers and men of the various forces if the man who incited the killing of their colleagues were to be released without even a trial. What will be the status of the families and community members of those killed, disposed, or displaced as a result of the hate campaigns and propaganda conducted by Nnamdi Kanu and sponsored by his regional and ethnic collaborators? He questioned. The CNG mouthpiece claimed that the renewed determination to secure the release of Kanu without trial is a part of a wider agenda of destruction and collective mayhem relentlessly pursued by the evil perpetrators of violence, fervently hoping it will engulf the entire country and bring about another civil war, mass killings, and sufferings of the innocent people. Nigeria is fighting a civil war, if you don't know, Mumu. Nigeria have been in civil war. The number of people dying on daily basis, you cannot even say that such number is dying in Ukraine and Russia war. None. Not even half of what is dying in Nigeria is dying in the two countries fighting war. But Nigeria is not fighting war. But indirectly, ethnic cleansing is what is happening. Religious cleansing is happening in Nigeria on daily basis. Convinced that the resurgence of violent separatist agitations by IPOB and its ilk in the southeast represent a much wider conspiracy for the violent determination of Igbo to see through the destabilization of Nigeria, cannot be avoided or deferred any longer without terrible consequences, according to the Mumu follower. I beg, let us go there. Tinubu's solution to poverty, insecurity, underway, Shetima. Now so we keep hearing 60 days in office. That's completely 2 months. People are still suffering. Look at the exchange rate. Their last administration brought it from 197 naira to a dollar to 750 naira, and they left. Now this government of APC, the same APC again, have carried it to 800 naira. We are exchanging $1 to 800 naira. And you tell me, underway. Which underway? Underway that a country who budgeted just how much? 500 billion naira for 200 and something million people. Then budgeted over 70 billion naira for people that are not less than more than 500. They are even less than 500. 450 something lawmakers in the Asorok, which if they divide it by a person, they are getting over 100 and something million naira for doing nothing. And you tell me the solution to poverty and insecurity underway. Now Ogu go punish you and their so-called principal. Vice President Kashim Shettima has said the federal government will unveil an initiative that will address insurgency, poverty, and other challenges confronting Nigerians in the coming weeks. Shettima made a disclosure in a chat with journalists while on a condolence visit at Kano State over the passing away of elder statesman Alhaji Abubakar Imam Gala Danchi. Speaking on the plan to address challenges confronting Nigerians, Shettima said President Tinubu is determined to address the crisis in the Northwest, which is further acquainted by poverty. He said the president is determined to define the meaning and concept of modern governance and the crisis we have in the Northwest, which is further acquainted by poverty. The social exclusion is also something that the president is determined to frontally confront, and in the coming weeks is going to unveil the Pulaku solution. Unless we want to engage in an endless war of attrition, there cannot be a military solution to the crisis in the Northwest. There has to be a nitic and non-nitic solution. In the next couple of weeks, we will unveil the Pulaku solution, which will address the grievances and some exclusions of our full-back cousins in the Northwest, and also towards addressing the root causes of all the banditry and insurgents in the nation. Earlier on arrival in Kano, the Vice President, received by Governor Abba Yusuf, proceeded to the residence of Emir of Bichi, His Royal Majesty, His Royal Highness, Alhaji Nasiru Ado Bayero, where he condoled with him on the passing away of the late Imam Galadanchi. From the Emir of Bichi residence, Shettima proceeded to the family compound of the late Alhaji Abubakar Imam Galadanchi, where he was received by Professor Shehu Galadanchi and Air Vice Marshal Nuru Imam, retired, on behalf of the extended families. In a statement by his spokesperson, Olusola Abiola Shitima, on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, expressed his condolences, prayed Allah to grant the deceased eternal rest, and also console the entire Galadanchi families. Thanking the Vice President for the visit on behalf of the family, Professor Shehu Galadanchi emphasized the need for unity of purpose among northern leaders and urged Nigerians to always support the Tinubu administration in prayers and otherwise for the success of its program and policies in the so-called Nigeria. From Kano, the Vice President then flew to Katsina on another visit to condole a North businessman, Alhaji Dahiru Mangal, over the demise of the first wife, Hajia Aisha Dahiru, who died Saturday evening in Abuja after a brief illness. Accompanied by the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, among others, the Vice President commiserated with the government and people of Kano and Katsina of the death of the prominent Nigerians. Other members of the Vice President in the delegation included a member of the House of Representatives from Kano, Honorable Abdul Mumin Jibrin, and Senator Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters, Alhaji Ibrahim Masari. That one is not enough. Suspected bandits' wives, alleged informants arrested after returning from Saudi Arabia. So even bandits go to Saudi also, go to pilgrimage also to become Alhaji and Alhaja. A number of suspected terrorists, along with their spouse and informants, have been arrested by security forces upon returning from their pilgrimage or Hajj in Saudi Arabia. The arrest occurred at Sultan Abubakar III International Airport in Sokoto, a typical travel route for intending pilgrims from Zamfara State. The apprehended suspects are reported to originate from Safe, Zomi, Bungu, and Shinkafi areas within Zamfara State. While the representatives of the security agencies in Zamfara State have not publicly acknowledged the arrest, several sources, including a high-ranking Hajj committee member, confirmed the operation to Premium Times. An anonymous member of the Zamfara State Hajj Committee said that there had been official communication between security agencies carrying out the operation and the State Hajj Committee members. He said, when the first flights came, we were asked to delay the pilgrims from coming down the plane. After that, we were asked to take them to a hall in the airport where we saw security agents, including those in uniform and in plain clothing. Our airport contact person asked us to withdraw and allow the security guys to do their work. According to him, the pilgrims were asked to sit on plastic chairs while they were screened again by the security agents. While the suspects were asked to remain in the hall, those cleared were asked to proceed. He further stated, initially I didn't ask any questions, but when it was repeated, when the second flight came, I made some contacts and I was informed that the security was taking away suspected bandits, their wives and informants for questioning. Another source, a staff of the pilgrimage welfare board, said in a series of WhatsApp voice notes that the suspects were placed under surveillance by security agents. The source said, I can't call you now, but it is true. The arrests were made, informed that the Zamfara, Katsina and Sokoto intending pilgrims were placed on serious security surveillance from Nigeria to here, Saudi Arabia. I know that arrests have been made at the airport, but I can't give you details now since I am not around too. In another voice note message, he said, another set of suspects were arrested among pilgrims from Safe. Yet, another source, a pilgrim who sought anonymity for security reasons, said he saw when the suspects were arrested. Immediately, the last flight landed on Friday. Security agents in number came and started asking for pilgrim documents. When we came off the plane, they took many people we were together with and took them to a vehicle. We were asked to proceed and take our handbags, but those taken were not even allowed to take their handbags, he said. A community leader in the Shinkafi area, who asked not to be named, said a group of respected personalities in the local government raised their alarm when they heard the rumor that notorious banditry kingpin Bello Tunji will be going to Saudi Arabia for his pilgrimage. We went to both the police and the brigade commander in Gusau, and they promised that they will take care of the situation. I am personally happy with this development, because if anything, it means the security agents are serious about tackling this situation, he said. The community leader said they later learned that Tunji didn't go, but several of his boys and informants went to perform their pilgrimage. The police spokesperson in the state, Yazid Abubakar, didn't give further information when contacted. Since you said it is a joint issue, I think you should talk to the brigade. Our officers are tied to the joint task force done to report to us because they have their own leader. So please reach out to them, Abubakar said. The spokesperson for one brigade army or Nigerian Army, Ibrahim Yahya, also said he was unaware of such operations. If you said it is in Sokoto airport, then it is not our officers. They are soldiers in Sokoto. They can do that. To be honest with you, I'm not aware of what you are saying, he said. When reminded that the pilgrims were from Zamfara and were only in Sokoto because there was no airport in the state, Yahya said he will not comment since he was unaware of the said arrest. Palliative of 110 billion for National Assembly members illegal outrageous, according to Femi Falana. The prominent human rights lawyer Femi Falana has described the decision of the National Assembly to allocate 110 billion naira as palliatives for each members as illegal and contemptuous. Nigerians report that the allocation of 70 billion disbursed among 306 newly elected members, in addition to 40 billion set aside for the purchase of sports utility vehicles and bulletproof cars for principal officers and members, has sparked public outrage. In a statement issued on Sunday, Falana said the lawmakers are callous and insensitive with their actions, considering the economic hardship endured by the majority of Nigerians as a result of the fuel subsidy removal. They don't care. They don't even care. The citizens can die and go to hell for all they care, as long as their pocket is well equipped. Anything you are talking is out of reach to them. The senior advocate of Nigeria said the decision of the parliament blatantly contravenes Section 70 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of 1999, which outlines the appropriate remuneration and allowances for members of the National Assembly. They have gone beyond the what they call it, their constitution, their so-called constitution, and they are doing otherwise. Falana affirmed that the judiciary had already ruled against such excessive allowances to lawmakers, adding that the Federal High Court had declared that the National Assembly Service Commission has no authority to determine the remuneration and allowance of its members. He said that the judgment remained valid and binding, and the National Assembly actions are therefore illegal and contemptuous. Who is going to contempt it? As you said it now, that is the end of it. The highest now, they will take another thing now to cover it, or bring another controversy to cover it. Now, everybody forget about it. We'll move on. That is how Nigeria keep dying. They are so-called Nigeria self. The senior lawyer therefore called on the leadership and members of the National Assembly to revise the controversial allowances and purchase of luxury vehicles. In the event that these actions are not promptly rectified, Falana urged the RMAFC to take immediate measures to prevent further usurpation of its constitutional functions. He warned that the failure to do so will result in contempt proceedings against the chairman of the RMAFC and the leaders of both chambers of the National Assembly will be prosecuted. Full list. Police withdraw security attached to Buhari's brother, Silva, Benga Daniel, Okorocha, Ayu, Matawale, and others. Let us see the full list and what people think about it. Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Egbetokun has ordered the withdrawal of police officers attached to former governors Temibure Silva, Benga Daniel, Lotas Okorocha, former secretary to the state government of the Federation, Boz Mustafa, among us other Nigerians. In a recent signal from the force headquarters dated July 12 and seen by People's Gazette, IGP Egbetokun withdraw police orderlies attached to former governors, senators, ministers, family members of former President Buhari, and some political exposed persons across Nigeria. Those on the list include former Imo State Governor Ikedo Hakim, former Cabinet Secretary to the President Buhari, Boz Mustafa, former Bauchi Governor Adamu Muazu, former Imo State Governor Rochas Okoro-Hausa, former Gombe Governor Danjuma Goje, former Ogun State Governor Benga Daniel, and former Zamfara Governor Bello Metawale. Others are former Police Affairs Minister Meigeri Danyadi, former Petroleum Minister Temibure Silva, former Senator Haliru Jika, former Budget Minister Clem Ikenade Aba, former PDP Democratic Party Chairman Iyocha Ayu, former House of Member Rabiu Lawan, and former Senator Stephen Ade. According to Gazette, the memo also directed the withdrawal of security airs from the other people without specifically proving their full names. The signal only described others to be deprived of personnel as a former Science and Technology Minister, former National Assembly Clerk, a former Power Minister, a brother of Aisha Buhari, and a brother to former President Buhari, who was only identified as Daura. However, checks on Sunday did not indicate that even the latest July 12 written directive had been complied with, as some of the politicians said their orderlies had not been withdrawn. Another video of another dollar video done surface online, whereby chairman, this one is just chairman of women wing of APC, sharing dollars to her staffs for lunch. And my greatest concern and my greatest surprise is not what she did or how she did it, but the truth there still remains that people who, if you see the comments of netizens, Nigerians, and youths for that matter, encouraging this dastardly act, encouraging this immoral act against your own naira. Look at naira have fallen to 800 naira per dollar. That is what naira is now. And the so-called people that are the home of affairs, who supposed at least be using their naira to trade. So if the naira will get strength, they keep on killing the naira on daily basis. And people see no reason for that. They keep on supporting her. I will read the reactions of people for you to understand what I'm talking about. Let's then react to a video of APC National Woman Leader Betta Edu sharing dollars as lunch money to staffs. Reactions have trailed the video of National Women Leader of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Betta Edu, allegedly sharing dollars in an envelope to staff as lunch money. The question is, where did she get the dollars that she's sharing? Are they now paying them salaries in dollars? Corruption can never, I repeat, corruption can never depart from this so-called Nigeria. This Fulani government of Nigeria. Corruption can never depart from it. Nigeria News gathered that the video posted by Sahara Reporter on its Twitter page, which the captions raised, APC National Women Leader Betta Edu lobbying for Minister of Women Affairs sharing dollar notes in envelopes as lunch money as naira falls to 800 naira per dollar, attracted a lot of mixed reactions from online users. In the viral video, a lady identified as Vicky was seen showing some dollars in an envelope and appreciating Edu. According to her, the money for lunch was too much. And it is in dollars. Nigeria, which way forward? I beg, make una follow me. Listen to this reaction. Below are some comments from the post. At Akoms Kobe wrote, since NTA came fully reignited, these fake news bloggers are on rampage to be in the news by all means. Well, Edu has no reason to bribe anyone. This is just a token of appreciation to one of our head. Token of appreciation. You cannot use it in naira. You are using dollar in naira land, and you call it token of appreciation.